he can't relate himself to. What I respected about him outside of his religious understanding and accepting Muhammad was his historical knowledge. You understand? And I mean, the guy taught in universities in England and all that, and he had some true points to try to go against Zionism, not realizing that he was actually going against himself. All right? But at least he chose to fight against it. And even I spoke with him and say, listen, you best find Christ, because the truth is in the Bible. Of course, Zionism is incorrect, but the truth is in the Bible. Now, through that, he did a research against his own people and realized that Jehovah, or the Tetragrammaton, linked to the 666, or Jabulon, the god of the Jewish people. Right? Hope you all can see that. See that? See Jehovah at the top? That's a tetragrammaton Yahweh. And you see Jabulon, Jah, the bull, An, which is another god, under the six-pointed star, which is the star of Moloch. So he, in conversation, he told me he knew that the Zionists in Palestine, he knew who they were and knew they were Satanists. And he also knew that the Yahweh, or the Jehovah, Tetragrammaton, is another name for Satan. But the point that jumped out at me, because he actually, through my conversation being on the radio, I had to go on the radio there, he gave me this book and said, you need to check some of these things out, because I did some historical research on the Zionists and what areas that they are looking to take. And he had a diagram. Now, of course, when he got this stuff from them, they thought that he was with them. But the Zionist dream of a greater Israel. And in it, there's a geographical location where the serpent is, all the areas they are looking to take before Christ returns. And these are all the areas of war in the Middle East today. They feel that they must have all the armies around these borders before Christ come from Mount Hermon. And you notice the borders are right there. Mount Sinai is there. The tongue of the sea is there, which is the tongue of Egypt. Cairo is there. See that? Syria is there. Lebanon is there. As you can see, parts of Saudi Arabia, all of Iraq. You're going to find that before the flood, this was all one region, brothers and sisters. That was commanded by where? Mount Hermon. These are the borders where the Most High people will be safe before Christ returns. I did all the research. It's the same areas that we marched in. Some areas we marched in coming out of the wilderness. We had to take down certain areas. You're going to find out it's within these borders here. And it so happened, this guy did the research on it, a Jewish guy who turned Muslim. Now, get Baruch real quick, where it says where we'll be safe at the very end. And after that, I'll open it up for questions, and the questions will be a maximum of 10 minutes. And then we'll wish you Godspeed. So I hope you understand the real plan of the Illuminist powers. The fact that they believe the Bible, they know Christ is returning, and they have a geographical location in the Middle East to make sure their armies are there upon Christ's arrival. And also, they've come up with weapons, knowing that there are certain portals in those areas to try to get in those portals. But it's not going to happen. I need you to get that out of 2nd Baruch, and then we'll end it with a prayer.
This is 2nd Baruch, chapter 28, verse 1.
Read.
Nevertheless, Whosoever understandeth shall then be wise. For the measure of the reckoning of that time are 2 parts of a week of 7 weeks.
Go ahead.
And I answered and said, It is good for a man to come and be whole, but it is better that he should not come lest he fall. But I will say this also. Will he who is incorruptible despise those things which are corruptible? And whatever befalls in the case of those things which are corruptible, so that he might look only to those things which are not corruptible. But if, O Lord, these things or those things shall assuredly come to pass, which thou hast told to me, so do thou show this also unto me indeed. I have found grace in thy sight. Is it in one place or in one part of the parts of the earth that those things are to come to pass? Or will the whole earth experience them?
Read.
Chapter 29, verse 1. And he answered and said unto me, Whatever will befall the whole earth.
Whatever that will befall the whole earth.
Therefore all who live will experience them.
Everyone that live will experience what's about to come down in this earth. No one will escape it, including Christians who think that they're going to be floated up in clouds. That's a lie that was created to keep you still so that you couldn't pray against the powers of Satan that are operating within the earth. That you would actually be used as a vessel to help them go against Christ. Read.
For at that time I will protect only those who are found in those selfsame days in this land.
Read it again.
For at that time I will protect only those who are found in those selfsame days in this land.
And it says, at that time I will protect only those that are found, where? In this self-same land. And come to find out, it's the same borders in the areas that the Jewish people are trying to take today, including the areas of Mount Hermon. Why? Because they're going to need some of those borders for refuge. As was written by Albert Pike and others, they know that this impending war will mean that Israel will be totally demolished. They know this. They know that Christ is going to bring back Israel from the sword. That means Israel will be destroyed before Christ returns. It's talking about the land of Israel. The Most High must deal with it through fire. They have totally defiled that area. So they're going to move out to those other borders they're taking. They didn't go into Israel to stay there. They went there to make their armies there in preparation for Christ. But through these wars, it tells you in the Morals and Dogma that they're looking to make Israel expendable. So that will be destroyed before Christ's return. I wanted to put that out there. But the only people that will be protected will be those in that self-same land, and those the borders of the areas I've just mentioned. In Isaiah the 11th chapter, it goes into the areas will be protected and how we will go through streams back into the wilderness areas. So Isaiah 11 is the areas that will still be intact upon the coming of Christ. I needed to put that out there. All right. With that, I'm going to say shalom. I hope you got some understanding of the truth concerning the location in which Christ will return and why they are planning wars and where we need to be and what mindset we need to be in upon Christ's return. Dealing with truth, following the commandments of the Most High, and operating as a unit in the Spirit. Now, I would like to say one more thing before I go. All right. The one thing I would like to say before I go, and I know a lot of people are getting caught up in doctrinal things. Listen to me clearly. The Bible tells us, I want to put this out there, don't get tossed to and fro in different winds of doctrine. It's unfruitful for you. Find one teacher, even if it's not us, and learn under that teacher. Because if you go one place and go another and all over the place, you're going to only confuse yourself. You're going to get frustrated, and eventually you're going to walk away from everything. You're not going to know what the truth is. All right? So don't get tossed to and fro in different winds of doctrine. Build on the understanding you have already received. And I wanted to put that out there. All right. And with that, I'm going to say shalom. And before I pray out, I'm going to answer questions. We're going to do 10 minutes max.